Hey, Dr. Karen here, and this is the fourth video in the series related to the coronavirus pandemic, how to stay happy, healthy, and harmonious during all of this. So I am currently in my kitchen, and in today's video, I'm going to share some practical advice as well as some metaphysical and spiritual advice and tips. So first, the practical. Now, I went to the grocery store the other day, and of course the toilet paper aisle was empty, but I was actually somewhat surprised that the broth aisle was pretty empty too. I mean, it was probably 3/4 cleaned out, and I normally go there and buy some organic bone broth if I'm not making it myself. So, and my crock pot gets a lot of use. So I thought, oh, wow, that's amazing. I mean, I don't know, I just thought that most people wouldn't buy organic bone broth at the regular grocery store. I thought it was just me, but apparently they do. So I thought, oh, okay, well, that's too bad. I guess I'll just, make my own. I have lots of chicken carcasses in the freezer. I even have some chicken feet in the freezer, and I can make my own. But I actually when I went to the grocery store, and on the shelf at the very top, I actually found something which I think is like worth its weight in gold. So I wanted to show you that. But before I do, why am I talking about bone broth? Well, here's the thing. If you are at all scared or worried about not having enough food while you're sequestered at home and not able to go out, or there's less food at the shopping center, whatever, I'm here to tell you, relax, 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 relax. Okay. First of all, we can subsist on much less calories than we think we can, or we thought we could in the past. And what's really cool is if you're at home and you're not going to work, and and maybe you have kids to take care of, that kind of thing, but this might be a really good time to do a little bit of gentle detoxification and weight release. Like, who doesn't want some weight release, unless you happen to be, very skinny? But a lot of people are so stressed out and so busy during the day, they don't really have time to take care of their bodies as much. But if you're home, then you might take the opportunity to actually do a little bit more self-care. So here's the thing. I wouldn't worry too much about not having enough food. One of the things that your body can subsist on very well is bone broth. In fact, it's what we call protein sparing, meaning that you don't have to eat as much or eat as much meat, for example, if you have bone broth. So, and the other thing too, it is well known that intermittent fasting is really good for you. It helps with, making you younger and longevity. And, during those hours where your gut is resting, it's amazing how much more energy you have to repair your body. So actually going on a mini fast is a pretty good idea during this pandemic, assuming that, if you have major medical conditions, you're a bunch of medications, you're severely adrenal fatigued, please ask your doctor or naturopath first before going on a fast. But what we're talking about is not a major fast. It's not like a week-long fast. We're talking about fasting for, say 14 hours, max a day. So you're going to be fasting overnight as you sleep, and then eating within, a 10-hour window or an 8-hour window, for those of you that can do that. And what I'm doing is kind of like a combo. So in the morning, I'm not eating a solid food breakfast per se. I'm actually having bone broth. So a couple of cups of bone broth in the morning, and then I have smoothies or a smoothie during the quote-unquote lunchtime, which is around noonish, and then I sit down and have a solid dinner, with, in my case, a meat and vegetables. So that's kind of like what I've been doing lately, especially since I downloaded the Breatharian Blueprint, which is an I have it on MP3 now, but it's a energy blueprint that helps us be able to, let's just say, receive energy from the source field directly without having to process food to get the energy. But I digress. Anyway, so, but I did want to tell you this amazing find at the grocery store. So I couldn't find the boxes of bone broth, and part of me feels a little guilty buying them instead of making my own when I don't have time, because the boxes, at least in our community, are not recyclable. So I feel a little guilty about that. However, I found this. Okay, so this is a brand that was at the store. I never really noticed it before, but like I said, most of the shelves were empty. And it is organic chicken bone broth concentrate. Check it out. Yeah. So it's called Kitchen Accomplice Organic Chicken Bone Broth Concentrate. And so you take 4 teaspoons, you shake it up and take 4 teaspoons of this into hot water, and boom, you have your bone broth. In fact, this is super handy, you know, and to even, like, especially when it's not open, to maybe to bring on a trip, assuming we get to fly and, you know, go somewhere in the future. Anyway, and this is organic, yay! So this is really cool. Now the other thing I had at home, because I just bought a whole bunch for travel, is Dr. Kellyanne's Collagen Broth as well. So this actually has bone broth, collagen protein. Let's see what else. Let me read the ingredients for you. Where am I? Oh yeah, chicken bone broth powder, cauliflower powder, grass-fed bovine hydrolyzed collagen, natural flavors, sea salt, black pepper, minced green onion, parsley, reishi mushroom powder, turmeric extract. Yeah, so a lot of great stuff in this. And you can check it out on karencan.com/partners if you're interested in getting some of that. So it's amazing how much you can get by and have good nutrition just by doing bone broth, and doing like a bone broth fast in the morning instead of eating your breakfast. And then and if you really want to do like 1 day a week, you know, you can fast 24 hours with bone broth. Just drink as much bone broth as you want. It's not really a fast because there's calories obviously in bone broth, but it just lets your digestion rest, and then you get all these amazing collagen and these proteins that heal your gut. Most people have leaky gut, which causes autoimmunity and all sorts of inflammation. And of course the collagen is really good for your skin, you know, like no wrinkles, right? So those kind of bone broth is awesome. I'm a big fan of bone broth. And really, you know, you don't need to eat as much solid food as you think you do. And most people, when they're like hoarding food, you know, from the grocery store, they're eating processed food. And what happens is that you just don't get as much nutrition from processed food. Whether that be, you know, something frozen, a pizza, whatever that you think you need, and all those carbs make you actually hungrier, like the breading and the bread and stuff that makes you hungry. Your insulin goes up, and then your sugar crashes, and then you feel hungry again. Bone broth is very interesting that, you know, you don't have that big crash, that carb crash, if you eat pizza or sandwiches or, you know, things like that. So I highly, highly recommend it. And last thing I was going to show you is that my bone broth protein. So I've got lots of different kinds of protein here. Let's see if I can do this so my face shows up. Okay, so this one is from Organics. You can get that on my partners page as well. I'm partners with them. It is, there's chocolate and vanilla and plain. It's the only organic, certified organic bone broth protein that I found so far. It's very, very yummy. It makes awesome smoothies. So I have bone broth protein smoothies every day as well. And they have other collagens and things like that that you can add in if you really, really want to. Yeah, so that's the practical part of today's video. Is don't worry about not eating enough, because most people don't have to eat as much as they think they do, and you can subsist on something that's high nutrition, that's really, really good for you, and that's bone broth. And doing a fast, you know, between 14 and 15 hours fasting, meaning you're doing water, you're doing tea, you're doing bone broth, you know, that kind of fast is actually really good for your system, helps your organs rest, helps you do a gentle detox, nothing like severe. And you may lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds or 15 pounds during this coronavirus pandemic and be healthier for it. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, so a little bit on now we did the practical, so a little bit more on the spiritual and metaphysical side of things. Being at home also gives you the opportunity to be with yourself. This is something I talked about in my Spiritual Medicine Digest this week as well, which is on YouTube. And when we are home and not working and not doing 10,000 things and have this to-do list to do because we're kind of quote unquote stuck at home, we get the opportunity to actually be with ourselves, meaning to be with our inner selves as well, because a lot of times that gets put off in the back burner. And that's why, you know, when prisoners fight and they put them in isolation, they freak out because they don't want to be in isolation. It's painful for them to be alone with their own thoughts and their own emotions. For me, it'd be like, put me in isolation, okay? Do not want to be with the other prisoners. So, but when you're home alone, you have the opportunity, and this is a great opportunity. So you can see the coronavirus is a big problem and a nuisance, and you don't want it and you resist it. That's a lot of wasted energy. You might as go, okay, it's happening, so that's what is. So now what am I going to do about it? Now how am I going to make this into an opportunity or possibility? So like today I went and did a sauna, and then I did a workout with my skating coach online, and did some fascia blasting, which I haven't done in a really long time because I just didn't have time for it. I was always running to the rink or, doing kung fu in the class or whatever it is, but now I'm home. So the other thing too is being with yourself means you can meditate, you can clear thoughts, negative emotions, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your body. One of my favorite things to do and recommend is stillness. So stillness through observing internal movement is something that I teach to my students and my clients, and it's actually really easy to learn. Basically what you do is you tune your attention to the inside of your body and feel the waves of energy in your body. And if you're like, I don't feel anything, what you can do is jump around a little bit, rub your hands together and get the energy moving, and then close your eyes and then feel the energy moving within. And eventually you'll get really good at it. You can do stillness on the fly. So stillness on the fly is when you're talking, walking, doing something else, and still able to feel the energy flowing in your body. And what happens is it naturally stills the mind from thinking because you're focused so much on the feeling in your body, and you become fully here. And that's very valuable because when our nervous systems are in that space, we are more relaxed, we are in a healing space, our immune system's happy because we're not in a stressed, anxious, fearful state, and therefore you can be happier and healthier, and of course both energetically and physically more harmonious. So this week, think about how are you going to be with yourself more than you did before. Maybe that's self-care, maybe that's more meditation, maybe that's more introspection, maybe that's releasing emotions that aren't good for you, So so share with me under the video what you're doing this week. How are you turning this problem into a possibility, into an opportunity, and what kinds of, being at home shifts are you making compared to when you were at work? Like, what have you been doing that's been good for you, that is a positive thing? And would love for you to share below the video and inspire other people as well. So so I look forward to sharing a little bit more tips with you. Hope you have a happy rest of the day. And if you do go shopping, maybe you can find that bone broth concentrate and make yourself some bone broth. Let's release some excess weight during this coronavirus pandemic and be healthier for it. Yeah. All right. Bye there. See you next time.